Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. There are signs that we always see in countries before they actually have an economic collapse. Some of those signs are happening right here in the United States. Let's go through them. 12 things to look for to predict our economic collapse that is imminent. Number one, blackouts, coupled with things like lack of utilities, skyrocketing prices for natural resources. And in our case, in the United States, we see changes taking place to make it so we're not dependent on natural resources like oil and natural gas. It's simply too much for our power grid. Number two, businesses closing. We've already seen in the last few years numerous small businesses going out of business. But even now, some major corporations are closing branches and outlets. Businesses are failing. Number three, grocery store distress. Don't get me started on this one. Of course, shortages and lots of them. Coupled with rising food prices, even the essentials are very hard to purchase now. Also, medication shortages, both over-the-counter and prescription. We are actually at a very scary time right now because a lot of prescription drugs are hard to come by. And what we find in these situations is a lot of increase in self-medications like alcoholism and drug use. It's all over the country right now. Number five, a decrease in local police force. It started off with distrust for the police and also due to budget cuts. Simply put, as the economy gets worse, people's pay goes down and therefore there's not as much taxes to be collected and consequently a lot of police layoffs. Not to mention a drastic increase in dangers to police officers because of unrest. Number six, government printing money. Oh yeah, we've seen a lot of this. There's been a drastic increase in social systems to provide for the population, and it's a last-ditch effort governments do to keep the country afloat. And because of that, interest rates rising, but it ends up stifling the economy and creates vast homelessness, which leads to number eight, banks failing. It's very simple. Less money due to decrease in deposits. People don't have the money put in the bank. Leads to unsettling of the banks. The banks can't make their ends meet, which causes the people to pull even more money from their banks. And next thing you know, we start seeing a cascade effects of banks failing. We're seeing that right now. There's 12 things in this list. There's 8 so far, and we're seeing a lot of these things happening right now. Number 9, rioting. As unrest and distrust continues, it often starts out as peaceful protest, but quickly escalates into rioting, damaging, looting, rioting. To try to contain this, number 10, travel restrictions. It's the government's way to try to decrease unrest, calling out the National Guard, make it so other states don't infiltrate the states where rioting takes place, not to mention countries too, and ultimately it stifles traveling, even sheltering in place orders, which is the next step, number 11, declaration of martial law. The government sends federal reserves to curtail unrest, which only exacerbates the turmoil because the distrust in the government's already there, and now we see what looks like Nazi Gestapo on the streets trying to stop everything. And finally, number 12, government confiscations. As the economy collapses, so does our infrastructure. Less food manufacturing. These orders, by the way, are already in place by executive orders in past presidents. It's already there. They can confiscate food and supplies as they see fit. We already see a whole bunch of these in place, the majority of these. So it's just a matter of time before our economy does collapse. It is imminent. What are you doing to prepare for this? Because this is probably one of the most nightmare situations we can prepare for. Thank you for watching.